president or vice president right now, so I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock, October 29th. Let's all please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our secretary is also out sick tonight, so I'm going to double duty. So ask forgiveness up front. I will do a roll call. So Ms. Stoller.
Here.
Ms. Nieves. Ms. Leverance. Ms. Whaley.
Here.
And Mr. Block.
Here.
All right, we have three. We do have a quorum to conduct business tonight. Our first item on the agenda is going to be election of officers. So I will open the election of officers. Do we have a nomination for president of the Nickel Plate Review Committee?
I nominate Amanda.
I'll second that.
Right, is there any other nominations? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, congratulations, Amanda.
Thank you.
I will also open up the nominations for vice president.
You know, this is a situation where if you don't show up, sometimes you get stuck
Yeah.
with things. So I'm gonna nominate Jamie.
Perfect. I'll second that.
All right. With no one else, all those in favor of Jamie being the vice president of the Nickel Plate Review Committee, please say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Passes. And lastly, we have three recording secretaries, Kay Prang, Kelly Luark, and Ross Hillary, all staff for the city of Fishers. Do I have a motion to approve those as recording secretaries?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And I will turn it over to our new chair, Amanda, for our next item.
Great, thank you. Well, number 5 is easy, old business. There's no old business to cover tonight. So we'll move on to number 6, new business. So our first item on the,
Oh, did you approve previous minutes?
I did not. We do need to approve the previous.
oh, okay. Do we have any corrections to the minutes that are included in our package?
See the minutes.
Did you
I
say the minutes?
I didn't see the minutes included, and I'm not sure I was here, so I may need to abstain. Is that necessary for me to approve? I can,
If you weren't here, you may abstain, in which case we don't have enough, so we can move that to our next.
yeah, right.
Okay, there we go, that works. So we'll table that until the next meeting. So number 5, old business, there is no old business. So moving on to number 6, new business. The first and only item on our agenda tonight is the Maple Dell Townhomes, NPRC 25-2. This is a request to approve 3 townhome elevations by Old Town Design Group, for Maple Dell subdivision. And the property is zoned BC Village Center. It's located generally to the south of East 116th in the intersection of Holland Drive. The petitioner is Old Town Design Group, and Ross Hillary will present.
Thank you. So this is item NPRC 25-2. This is the Maple Dell Townhomes. Just so we're all familiar, they are located south of 116th Street near the intersection of Holland Drive. This is the full site. As mentioned, the property is zoned BC. We anticipate when we have our nickel plate district that the BC area is our population density area, which is where the majority of our residents who live, work downtown live. So this area does allow for multifamily as well as townhomes and single family. And this development will see townhomes for sale as well as single family homes for sale. But tonight we are just talking about the townhome elevations. For some general context, back in 2020, there was a previous site plan from a different development that looked at this site. They had acquired all the property and it was going to be a mixture of duplexes and multifamily. That project did fall through. This was something that this committee did see at that time. In 2024, the site plan that was shown on the right was released to the community, which showed up to 10 single-family lots, as well as the townhomes. And since that time, the site plan has been updated to what was included in your packet. So it is, again, a mixture of single-family homes. There will be 8 along the southern portion of this drive, and then the rest are a townhome product, 3 of which we're talking tonight. Also, a common area, which will be detention for this entire site. There is a single access point which has been worked on with economic development and our fire department, which will be on Holland Drive. And then there is a site that you can see in the upper right corner that is not part of this development, but we are planning in the future, when and if that comes online, to be a continuation of this development.
Ross, to clarify, you said there's a single access drive, but is there like an emergency access drive between the units there?
This was proposed earlier, but we worked with fire and that has been removed.
Okay,
So it is still common area between those townhomes.
okay,
But it is not an access drive.
all right, thank you.
Good question. So as mentioned in the staff report, we have 3 different elevations that Old Town has put together. I have them here on this map to kind of help you understand it. So we have the east 116th Street elevations, the alley loaded elevations, and then the front load elevations. And I'll walk through all 3 of those. So the east 116th Street elevations will be 3 building units along 116th Street. These are a mixture of hardy plank and a masonry material. I've also included the side elevation, which shows the brick that will wrap the side, as these will be very visible, not only along 116th Street, but also on the new streets that are proposed in the development. Each of these will have a front stoop along 116th Street. Here is the rear elevation. Along these elevations, they have included their kind of outdoor living area on the rear based off of concerns around noise and the price point for these townhomes to try to make sure all these residents still do have some outdoor living space. The next section that we have are called the alley loaded elevations. They're seen here, a very similar color palette, hardy plank and masonry material. You can see all of these are high quality with a board and batten material when we're not using masonry. All front elevations will have either a porch or a stoop. And this area has a combination of the outdoor living area on both the front and the rear, giving each individual home some additional privacy. As mentioned, these are all alley loaded in that green section shown. And then lastly, based on just general site constraints, we do have 2 sections or 2 buildings of front-loaded elevations. So the access is front door and the garage on the front side. Again, a combination of masonry materials and hardy plank with board and batten on these. Again, side elevations are shown in the bottom right. And these ones have a unique opportunity to have the outdoor living area on the rear. Most townhome developments really don't have the opportunity to provide a backyard experience because you are in a townhome. So we think this is an interesting opportunity to provide the outdoor living for these residents. With that, I know there's going to be discussion from our committee members, petitioners here, as well as the developer. We do recommend approval with the one condition that all TAC comments shall be addressed. They've been working on that since submission. We do have 3 waivers, which we as a committee have seen before. We think the combination of the hardy material and the masonry is great. We do have some strict guidelines around percentages, but again, any opportunity that we've asked Old Town to, for instance, wrap that around any side elevations, they have agreed to. We do ask for that waiver of the 75% along the main frontage and 50% off all sides. There also is a facade waiver request on decorative headers of stone or other masonry on all windows. I'd like to ask that from this committee. Structures shall articulate horizontally and vertically minimum 2 feet for every 50 feet. And working with Old Town, we think these elevations have done a good job of modulations on their own. And then we do have some setback restrictions based off of utilities and other items. So there is a strict 2-foot minimum front yard setback, which we are also asking for a waiver on. I'm happy to answer any questions, and both Old Town and developer is here. Is there anything else?
You want us to start or the developer to?
Yeah, do you guys have anything you want to add?
I don't think so, no. Just, that was well done. Appreciate that, when we do try to make something that is, designed well for the community, that we're designing to, but also just that's a price point. And so there are definitely things we want to work with. We're happy to talk and have discussions, but we're trying to hit a price point with, each different type of, and the placement of the, townhomes that we've created. And so that's the reason why we have 3 different types. It's often easier just to create one townhome type and just go through a neighborhood, but we thought, let's be a little bit more targeting it as far as price points so that we can make sure that all sites are purchased and have good opportunities for all around different price points. So.
I'm happy to start.
Sure.
Well, maybe Matt, just a few questions and then some comments. What are the price points then that you're targeting for the project?
Yeah, so currently right now, I would say we're probably anywhere between the 550 and the 800 range. And I think that a lot of that is dependent upon what happens inside. You know, we do offer, we're a semi-custom to custom builder.
Yep.
So we do offer a lot of upgrades that could happen on the inside. But as far as the price points, 116 in the blue that you see, we know just from past experiences that that would be a difficult lot to, that people would want to be further away from the street. So we were trying to figure out a way, how can we create something that's pretty on all 4 sides of architecture, but then also give the outdoor experience a little buffer between the street on 116. So that's why we created the outdoor living on the backside. There were some design hardships as far as the spacing that we were allowed to have there. With utilities, we didn't have a lot of, we had to actually scrunch our design a little bit, which means we can't, and most of the plans you saw that we have outdoor living kind of on the front and the back, and this plan, we couldn't do that. So we had to push our outdoor living to the back, over the garage, over the driveway, and then do more of a streetscape facade that is equivalent to a front home on the 116th Street side. We feel more people would spend more time on the back, kind of for noise pollution and things like that. So that's kind of why we did it, and we made the front entryway on the 116th Street side. So saying that would be our lower price point, like on the 116th Street, those plans. And then as you move inside with a little bit more buffering from the street, we have the opportunity. We currently sell a version of this in Carmel and in Westfield. And it gives a great opportunity because the outdoor living is separated between each unit, one on the front, one on the back. And it gives a lot of privacy for the homeowner. And it actually kind of gives a nice facade on both sides of the building there. And then on the front load, we have a design for a front load. And obviously the way that the development was designed, this is the only way we could do this townhome, is to have the front door on the same side as the garage. But we really feel the back is actually going to draw people because it has a little bit more space, opportunity for a backyard. It actually has 2 outdoor livings, so on the main level and also on the second level there. So it gives a lot of opportunity for a nice space, really open floor plan, and just a great option for homeowners that want privacy.
Well, so some compliments. I think you've done a really nice job with the site plan. I would hope that the feedback from the neighbors has been positive, because I think, with the single family detached, adjacent to them. I can only hope that, that's pleasing. It's not going to have the massing that, the 3-story might otherwise have. So I think that's great. I do like your elevations generally. I mean, I think they're first class, no problem. In fact, I'm a fan of the Hardy as well. I think it shows and hold that it's durable. I like the mix of materials. My comments, and I think you got a little bit of this in advance, but I spoke with Ross. The concern I have, whether it's your project or any project, is what the streetscape is like along 116th Street. That is our main thoroughfare really in Fishers. And I think wherever we can enhance that look along 116th Street is really important. And I think that, I mean, honestly, your front elevation on the 116th Street is just too plain. I mean, really, honestly, in comparison to your alley loaded front elevation. I mean, I think that's a very attractive look with porches that are incorporated. You've got, they provide kind of, some sort of front stoop to the building. It gives it a lot more character. And, that would be what I would love to see you try and incorporate. Now, I understand the reality is that people aren't going to access these homes as much that way. So it's as much a facade, or maybe there's some treatment like that. But I think it can be livable to a degree because there are other activities that go along 116th Street. Maybe people want to just sit out there, but I just feel like to Fishers and what's going to be presented, that's what they're going to see. Those units that are on 116th Street. I mean, while the balance of the units are very nice within the project, they're just not going to be as visible. So that's what I encouraged or at least suggested to Ross. I'm hoping that's something that you could do because I don't know. It doesn't wow me where I look at the alley and I'm like, oh, that's nice, very nice. So
I think there's some hardships that we had to address just with the development and how much spacing we had. As far as for those lots aren't as deep where they wouldn't fit the alley load. And so we had to come up with, there's easements that are required by the utilities that they really wouldn't budge on. And we were trying to get some variances and things like that to see if it was a possibility. And so we did try, coming from history that we've now been selling townhomes now for about 3 to 4 years. And we've found that it's harder for clients to actually purchase, to see themselves sitting on that front porch overlooking a busy street. They like it just like you do, that everybody likes that, but then they go, I just wouldn't live here. I'd rather have the back version, or have something blocking the noise. And that becomes the overwhelmingly, experience that we've been finding. And so, I completely understand and agree. I actually like this version as well, but I think we had some constraints. So I think there's a 4-foot difference if I remember in the pad. But I can't recall. Can you?
No, I don't.
can we grant a variance for that?
It's actually with the utilities, that they
Maybe you
require.
slide everything, you could slide it south a little bit.
We were actually trying, we sat we are actually down with all the different easements throughout the whole community. We would either slide them south and get rid of all the single family, we went.
Not all of them. I mean, what are you talking about? 4 feet, right?
Yeah, we're talking quite a, yeah, we just had to kind of talking with the utility companies and also with, a developer, trying to get everything pieced in with all the, easements that are on the property. We were trying to get 2 feet out of everybody and we couldn't,
What easements are you speaking to?
us,
Water and storm.
yeah.
Where?
You go back, the main constraint on the single family is there's this storm easement right here, and it's this backyard for number 5. It actually goes a little bit into there. That's our big constraint at the back, and also
How deep
house
are
number
those
1,
lots?
2. Well, they vary. The short one here, 45 foot. I think that's what that says.
45 foot deep?
Yeah.
Really? That's gotta be deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's probably like 45 foot wide.
I think that,
They're probably,
I think our pads that we have right there on 1 through 4, 6 through 8, are, 50 by 70 pads.
yeah.
And that's the size. Number 5 is actually smaller and not as deep because of the easement. We would have to, we have custom and semi-custom opportunities. The semi-custom lots that we have, we can work on 1 through 4 and 6 through 8. 5 would have to be a custom lot, just because of the easement.
Well, it seems like you've got room, I mean, off that easement, the entire south side to be able to slide everything south. I mean, literally, you're talking 4 or 5 feet.
Here's another thing to consider, when I've seen balconies on front, you got, furniture. And it can be an eyesore because unless you control it, and I know when you go on Carmel on the Monon, it does appear that their balcony front things have matching, either, I don't know if they are pre-owned, the whole building by somebody, but they are coordinated. They are not happenstance. And so while if it could be curated, it might be an ad, but I think there's actually risk to.
Well, there are ways we could control that through covenants within the project to control what happens on porches.
I would want that to be a part of it, because otherwise you're gonna have random lime green growing.
Is there some type of kind of middle ground here? I see the point in that this is kind of plain. You know, as a resident living there, I don't think they're gonna sit out on those if you put a balcony out there. I mean, they're just not. I mean, it's, you know, you're not gonna sit out looking over that street. So is there, you know, on some of the, it's like a gray area, we can put like some kind of awning over the window and maybe above the white, I want to say. And then on the gray, there's those 2 points there. One of them is wider than the other. Put some type of ornamental thing up there. I mean, I think you can improve the appearance of this a little bit, to Rich's point, without really, you know, putting a living space out there is what I want to say.
I don't happen to mind the balance that you used. I would want to know what the like, are you in charge of the landscape plan? Because, you know, beautiful pictures, but what really goes? Because, you know, to Rich and Selena's point, when you're walking on the street, how does that feel for the pedestrian? I think there's opportunity there to make sure the quality of the walker by,
I will say that we got a new engineer for this project and we're supposed to resubmit early next week. Had a call with them today.
Well, I'm looking at the elevation on 116th Street, and I see some articulation there. So, and what I'm looking at too with the alley low front elevations, you only have porches on 2 of the units, 2 of the 4. And, you know, I think there's at least some setback to those 2 units. I don't, is it 3 feet?
Flush, they're flush on the front, so all of them are flush and the porches, so
Even the alley load, is that all
yeah, so
flush too?
the alley load are all, so they're not, I mean, there might be maybe 1 or 2 feet of articulation between them, but the porches are actually part of the space, so if you're looking at the left unit right now, that's one that's up on the board, the outdoor living's on the back of that one.
Yeah.
And it's right above the garage.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't go beyond the garage. It actually just right above the garage. The porch on the second unit is equal to the front door on the unit next to it. So it's part of the unit spacing. That's where our hardship came a little bit too, is to get the square footage that would require to be a unit that people would want to buy. We had to do the projection off the back over the garage with the outdoor living on the current 116th, because of the spacing that we have, to have this fit. We just don't have a product that would to put a porch on the front. So we don't have the spacing, we don't have the easements right now. into there. So we were trying to give something that would be, you know, because we know that these units are going to be a lesser price point, because people, that's what's going to drive. It's like, hey, I really like these units. I like the feel of them on the inside, and the outside, but I don't want to be on 116th, and so they're going to push towards, the price point's really going to push them towards this road.
What's the lighting? Because I'm like wondering
Sure.
if, are you having sconces? Is it
Yeah,
overhead?
typically, and I apologize, with the renderings, they don't always come through. By all front doors, by code, I have to have lighting, by all front doors, and typically we would do sconces, or can lights, by front doors. On the garage doors, typically we would have coach lights or sconces, and or a mixture of can lights above the garage.
That adds to the elevation character too.
And
but-
you'll be having the upgraded garage doors with the windows.
So that is definitely an option. We talked about that earlier today. There
Yeah.
is definitely an option that we can do and can discuss. It's one of those things. We're at the stage right now with all of these, with the price point for the market where they're at. We have to be marketable too. So that's the next thing is, so every little thing that we add, to add the windows to the garage doors, talking about $1,000 per garage door. And happy to talk through that, but I would also hope that Fishers would be willing to work with us on some of the fees and things like that. Just because we're at a price point right now, I'm nervous a little bit about if that's something that the community could absorb. I do have some pictures of existing townhomes that have landscaping packages. Obviously, they're brand new, just put in this year. But there's some landscaping packages with existing homes that we've done. This is actually very similar to the units that you're talking about, the alley load. And
This does have quite a bit of articulation to it, Matt.
it's actually all under roof though. And this is what these plans have, but you're talking about, yeah, a couple feet.
Oh, I mean, at least, that's pretty.
Well, that's all, but the porch itself, this rail
Yeah.
is on the same level,
Yeah, yeah.
same plane as the unit next to it.
I still think there's a way to do it. I mean, honestly, I think you need to enhance that front elevation, and I'm thinking of what Selena's asking is there some other sort of treatment that can be done there? I mean, as I say, this to me is an important elevation, and there's such a, I mean, really a marked difference between your alley loaded front elevation and the 116th Street.
And I think that there's, yeah, I would agree with you, and that is almost on purpose because of the price point. I think you have to have that difference because you're gonna have to have a draw to that street for the homeowner to live next to the noise pollution and the traffic that will be off.
What's the demographic you want to attract?
So right now we have, it's young professionals, and I have families that are living currently in the Carmel and the Westfield projects that we have. And then we have actually people that are downsizing, that are just want to have less maintenance, that type of thing. They don't want to have to do a lot on the outside because the landscaping and all the exterior is taken care of by the HOA, so.
We've got precedents down the street on 116th with, townhomes close to the street. Are those have done well occupied?
The one across from like McAllister's or not McAllister's? but-
16 Towns
Yeah.
was a one-arm product,
Those are fully occupied.
I think
my
so.
understanding, yeah.
And then we've got kind of the precedent of South Village with all the modern single-family homes. Are those doing well? Because I mean,
The Gradison
yeah,
product,
the Gravison.
yes, those are doing well.
So I guess what I'm saying is this kind of minimalistic architecture does have an audience. It's not for everybody. But I think there is a population with the growth in particularly probably the younger professionals that are okay with the very kind of minimal approach.
I will say this, this is a VC. We do have street trees on 116th Street,
VC.
Village Center.
Oh, Bill.
This is zoning.
Yeah. Yeah, there's gonna
That was
be
extra capital.
three trees every 25 foot along 116th Street. Is what the
3 trees every what?
25 foot.
So that
And
it
that's
would
between
pop
the sidewalk and the curb. And then there's additional that we would be putting in front of that, each
Okay.
home.
up. What is the setback to the front door?
I believe out the sidewalk, it's 10 feet, if I remember correctly.
The sidewalk
find those
plus
numbers on
10 feet.
Some of that's based off of the citizen restriction, correct?
Yeah, Citizens requires a 20-foot easement now for the water line.
Where does the speed limit stop at 25 now on 116th Street?
If I remember correctly, Holland Drive, maybe where that sign is, right before you get into that McAllister's area.
I thought it was 45 all the way down through town.
No,
Some residents do believe that, but right near that commercial area where we kind of switch from that single family is where we have that speed recommendation signage that then changes
so
into,
would this fall in the area then?
I'd have to
Yeah.
check. I would imagine the main point here is this area is now being accessed through that intersection. So once you really hit home at that stop sign.
I do have a product that I just want to show you currently. So it's not exactly like it, but we don't have any of the outdoor living. This is just a flat roof, mechanical roof. But that it's similar to that.
Yeah.
We did the same thing because we had a road out front and then we did the walkout patio on the back of this product. I was only 11 units that I could sell. But I sold those pretty quick because of the price point. And more people were like wanting that rear because they didn't want to be on the street. And so that's in Carmel, downtown Carmel, off of near Range Line. So, and that's kind of why we did that. But I have a little bit more space. It's a little wider and a little bit longer with that, but it's similar architecture on the front as far as not having the front porch.
So Rich, I just looked at Google Maps. The 25-mile-per-hour sign is after this, right when you get to that McAllister's. This
Okay.
area is under 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, okay.
Ross, can you go to the front load elevation front?
Uh,
Right there. So this is the one I was telling you, that 6 inches of grass
Yeah.
on each.
So this is a rendering, and I'll point out, my suggestion is actually, and this is what we currently do on a front load that we have, is we actually turn the walkway into the driveway towards the house, so that this would all be grass here, and would be almost 6 to 7 feet of grass.
6 to 7 feet
Yeah.
of grass, and you're gonna irrigate it and mow it.
It'd be all irrigated mode, and
Okay.
there would probably be more landscaping. Again, a rendering, sometimes I can't ask the computer to do what I really wanted to do, but currently I turn the walkways just right in front of the garage door there, and then so all of this area would be grass.
Yeah, there's just like what I would call landing between the garageway and the front porch type area. Yeah, that, I was gonna say, that 6 inches of grass, I could just see that dying and.
Yeah, and that's, after our discussion today, I didn't have them in front of me, but when I went back, I'm like, oh, I know what she's talking about, and that's not what we would do. Sometimes I just don't catch everything when we do the rendering, and when the computer kind of goes through its thing. And so, yeah, we just turn that towards the driveway so we have more grass and more landscaping.
Okay. Okay, so, I think we agree, upgraded garage doors, you're gonna fix that landscaping there. And review the elevation on 116th Street, just to see, how can we upgrade it, like I said, a little bit, maybe a couple awnings, I don't know, some type of little,
Well, I think what we heard from him was that he said there's a hardship and that he couldn't change it. That's what I was hearing.
Okay.
I am not comfortable with that. I would like there to be something more, for the reasons
I have no problems looking at options. I have a deep concern that if I raise the price point on that, then it becomes my problem to sell a unit for, on that street.
Well, I'd like to think honestly that it becomes more in demand. because it's a nicer elevation. And I think to some degree, it will be more appealing to a buyer. I don't know what the, extra cost is that, has to be passed along, right, to the buyer, but I don't think it's huge. I mean, to build a porch and those sorts of things is it's not a big number. And I think it just materially, aesthetically is better. At least in my mind. And, I don't know the easement situation well enough, but I would tell you that the answer, I mean, I think there's a way to, if you had to slide 4 feet, you could probably do it. But I don't know. I'm just not that impressed with it. So I would, unless there's something more that we can, either see or, you can come back with, it's too important to me. I mean, honestly, we've missed the mark in a lot of ways. I say Fishers, with 116th Street, just because it's such an important thoroughfare. I don't want to see stark elevations. I want character. I want people when this is my personal feeling, to drive through and say, wow, we're in Fishers. I know it now. That's attractive.
Can you describe what you mean by character? Because I think, we're interpreting architectural aesthetic.
Well, we may have different opinions. Your
Right.
opinion of this might be
Right.
very different than mine.
So that's why I think it might be helpful, since you're just like, this is not hitting the mark of what brand that you want people in Fishers to feel. So when you say character, what would be helpful to add? You mentioned.
Well, I mentioned, I mean, literally, the alley load elevations that have the porches,
balcony.
the balconies, they have the covered porches. It's materially, there's more contrast to the building than what you see on 116th Street, those elevations.
And there's an $80,000 to $100,000 difference between those units.
Okay, and why is that?
So those porches are actually over living spaces because we incorporate them into the aspects of the actual build. So the type of porches, the type of finishes. So for the TPO that we have to use to water mitigate, all those things is a little bit more difficult. The outdoor living on the 116th is actually just protruding. It's cantilevering outside over the garage, so I don't have to mitigate the stormwater in the same sense. So there is a huge cost difference between those units. Partially just that was also due to the fact that it's like I'm working with a different space than the other ones there.
Well, I think Selena was asking if there's some, yes, or you want
Can I
to?
have a comment? This is a neutral third party.
Yeah.
So I lived in the nickel plate apartments over here, and I had one of the units that faced 116th Street with a living area outside. I never went out there because I did not want people to see me. The only time I went out there, and I lived over there for almost 2 years, I went out there during the parade. And then I was ashamed to be out there because I'm like, people are probably staring at me. And I looked on Facebook and I saw like pictures of us sitting on there, and I was like, this is exactly what I did not want. So I just wanted to provide that feedback. And also at the price point that he's offering for those units, as a young professional, which is in his target demographic, I would not pay that much because I have a single family home like 15 minutes away from here with 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, same
Did you
exact
come
price.
just because you were interested in the case?
I'm in the city government academy.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Well, no,
I'm
but
not
you know,
interested.
what I would speak to is, I mentioned this at the beginning, which is it may just be a facade treatment. It may not be functional space, but I think there are things that can be done to the elevation that
I'm happy to look at some
Okay,
ideas.
yeah, that's what
Yeah, happy to look at
But
ideas.
you're wanting them to come back to the committee.
I'm here to say I'm not supportive of the elevation on 116th Street in its current form.
Okay.
So.
When do you have to have your approval by? We don't want to hold you up.
I think I'm waiting on development approvals and then,
I don't want to wait. If you need us to meet, can we meet like here in a week or two if you guys?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. Sure.
Yeah,
Next week is better.
should be fine.
Yeah.
So if we came back next week, you could have the renderings more closer to what we kind of talked about
I'm
as
gonna say
best as you
pretty
can.
close because the reason why I'm here is my lead lead designer is on vacation because he was gonna be here last week and then we couldn't have the meeting. And so he went on vacation this week, and so I won't have him back till Monday, but I'll see what I can do to have something put together by next week.
Okay, does that sound, Ross? Can you have us a room and can you have us a secretary and you be here next week?
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be difficult, but I would tell you that, I mean, honestly, she knows, that, I mean, you know, I think wherever we can enhance, I mean, I'm just not, it's not your project at all, but the appearance of what we do in Fishers, where we can take it up a notch, that's, it's not crazy. I mean, you know, we're not trying to add crazy costs, but things that can enhance that visual are only gonna make all of Fishers better. Just look better and everything. And I understand the challenge of functionality too. That's a whole nother, you know, question. But
Are we okay with the other renderings as far
I
as
am,
the
yes.
other two?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't have-
Yeah, it's gonna say, I think just the things that we talked about, the garage door, there's one driveway thing, and then the front of this. And see what you can do.
I'm here through next week, but I could be remotely connected too if you know you need more time. If I'm out of town.
I'd love to give an opportunity to my design director to
Okay.
have a look at it. I just also don't want to bother him on vacation, so Monday would be the earliest I'd have
Okay,
an opportunity.
maybe just stay in touch with Ross
Yeah,
and he can then in turn stay in touch with us.
Yeah.
I don't mean to kind of monopolize the conversation but I mean, clearly I voiced it to Ross in advance and, you know, obviously you were aware of it and, you know, I'm not comfortable today with where we're at and hope that we can do better.
And happy to look at it. I think our biggest point though is price point. And in order for me to say even yes to the project on our end too, it's just like, hey, I have to meet a price point. If I can't sell those units, it becomes my problem and Fisher's problem, because then I have pads that won't ever get built on because no one can build on them. So that's not a warning. It's just like, hey, that's the hardship, you know?
No, I get it. I'm in your shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I know.
I wanna take a look at what we can do and we'll definitely
Thank you.
put our thinking caps on it.
All right.
For sure.
Thank you. Any last comments?
That dimension I looked at earlier, 91 foot, not 41.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it was deeper.
Kicking myself for even saying that.
Okay, so I think we're probably looking at a Tuesday or Thursday, because at this time next Wednesday, we have, Park Committee, PUD, and then, Plan Commission. Ross has a busy night next Wednesday, so it'll be either Tuesday or Thursday of next week.
Tuesday may not.
Thursday would probably be ideal for me if possible, but just for time
It's a
frame.
5 o'clock kind of thing.
I would do
I
five.
could do Thursday.
Let's do it
at 5.
tentative, but can you have Kay send us
Okay, we'll
out?
send out something.
And you check with
So we're in
deliverables.
November
Okay.
6th.
Yeah,
I can probably move things to make that work.
I can also communicate with our two other committee members who are not able to be here tonight.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we have a quorum here and we have a location to meet, so.
So do we need a
don't
motion related to this, that we're
For-
kind of tabling it until
Yeah,
next
motion to
week?
table.
If you're not approving anything tonight and continuing the whole item, I would just have a motion to continue the item
Okay.
until the next available meeting date, in which we'll provide that to you.
Okay, do I have a motion to table the approval of Regal Bell Townhomes?
So moved.
Second.
And then staff roll, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The roll call, the staff roll call, is that you?
You
Ross?
guys just voted.
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, okay, that's what I mean. And then is there any other staff communication?
My staff communication was that you will have a meeting in November. So we'll have one November 19th. But
Okay.
you'll also have one next week.
All right, we're making up for being off most of the year.
That's the end of staff communication.
All right, thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We are adjourned.
Sorry, pain in the butt.
That's right.